This is the Radically Realistic Podcast. I'm Susanna LaPointe, a 14-year personal training and nutrition coaching veteran. My wellness coaching practice incorporates strength, nutrition, and self-care. Because while fitness and nutrition are very important, they are just the tip of the iceberg as far as taking really amazing care of ourselves goes. So I incorporate all other types of self-care practices into my coaching as well. I call this podcast Radically Realistic because when it comes to implementing sustainable habits and practices to improve ourselves or our lives, they must be realistic and they must fit into our current lives. Otherwise, they won't stick, and then what even is the point? Join me each week as we explore another aspect of taking amazing care of ourselves through a lens of being super realistic about what we can and will actually fit into our lives. Let's get started with today's show. Hello and Happy New Year. If you are listening to this when it airs, which is January 6th, 2021. If not, then hi, how are ya? I always feel a sense of relief when life returns to normal after the holidays. Even though this year it's pandemic normal, I still feel a sense of normalcy when kind of regular schedules pick back up and people aren't gone or on vacation. I'm talking about my clients, things just kind of settle back down to a dull roar, which I do better when things are more predictable. And you may be that way too. And in light of today's topic, it makes sense because this is about having a consistent normal morning routine. But before I get into today's topic, I just wanted to let you know that I have a few announcements. I have a few one-on-one coaching spots open right now. I filled up several over the last couple of weeks, but I still have a few spaces open if you're interested in one-on-one wellness coaching. If you are new to me or don't know what I do, I meet with my clients one-on-one weekly, and we discuss fitness, nutrition, and or self-care habits and practices they are working on and building into their lives. And for most people, since I'm a personal trainer, first and foremost, I program their weekly workouts through my online platform so they can access them on an app on their end, and they'll get a daily plan, which we come up with together. All my programming takes into account your lifestyle, your fitness level, your availability, and anything else that makes it be able to be realistic to you and what you can and will fit into your life. I'm also going to be opening up a small beta testing group for a small group coaching program. I'll have more details in the coming weeks, but if you would be interested in trying out for me a small group coaching program for a discounted price as a beta tester, I would love if you would reach out to me and let me know. I'll be looking for a few volunteers in the next few weeks. All of my contact information will be in the show notes, and I think that's it for announcements. Let's get into today's topic. Okay, what I want to talk to you about today is the concept of establishing a consistent morning practice. I'm sure this is not new information to you. A lot of people swear by engaging in a consistent morning practice to fuel their day with intention so it doesn't end up getting away from them, and so they can come into the day proactively, taking care of their needs and goals so that they run their day and the day doesn't run them. For the layperson, including myself, what this translates to is that when we are able to set our intentions for the day and kind of ground and tune in at the beginning of the day and just take a few moments to ourselves in the morning, before any number of things get thrown our way, we start the day with purpose. A morning practice could include any or all of the following things, or whatever else would work for you. Meditation, you could journal, you could just read some sort of whatever, like anything, any book or whatever, yoga, or anything else that makes you feel like you're grounded when going into the day. It doesn't need to take a long time. In fact, just 5 minutes a day could make a really big difference in your day and then in your life, because once you set up this kind of consistent practice, it trickles into all areas of your life. First and foremost, though, I want to acknowledge that I know that this is not possible for everyone, especially if you have young children or super, super early morning and you just can't make it work. But if you have young children who wake up at unpredictable times, it can be really difficult to consistently get a little time to yourself in the morning. I certainly was not able to do this until my kids were quite a bit older. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I know that not everyone can make this happen, but if you're able to in the future sometime, I would encourage you to just kind of keep that open in your head to really consider looking for an opportunity to make it happen as soon as possible, if this is something that resonates with you. If it doesn't, then I don't know. It doesn't. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple examples of the potential difference between taking a few minutes in the morning and then not. This is a little similar to my proactive versus reactive approach that I did a few episodes back. I think it was episode 3. Okay, so on one hand, we could set our alarm to wake up on time for the day, but then end up hitting snooze until the last possible second that would be acceptable to get up and get started before you had to be somewhere or do something. This could result in starting the day on edge, flustered, in a hurry, and the rest of the day might feel a little chaotic and out of control as well, just because getting up and then hitting the floor running can be a kind of a shock to your system, and you may not fully recover and feel grounded at any point during that day. Obviously, this is just a hypothetical, but this is kind of a reactive situation. Like, you're reacting to the day, you're reacting to your alarm going off and like kind of putting off the inevitable until the very last second, and then you just kind of start the day in not a super great place. Okay, so in contrast to this, you could set your alarm to get up 10 to 30 or even an hour minutes before you really need to be up. You could actually get up when your alarm goes off, which will require you getting to bed on time the night before. So it's really seriously a proactive situation. This is something you're going to really want to do and desire to do it in order to make it happen and keep it consistent. But because of the nature of what it is, it will kind of lure you in to continue because it does pay off so well. Anyways, okay. So you actually get up with your alarm, you make some coffee or tea, and you sit down either with your journal, or you just do a little meditation, or you even just sit with yourself and breathe for a few minutes before you actually have to start getting going. This would result in a more peaceful, grounded feeling to start your day. And again, any modality would be helpful here. You could do a yoga practice, short or long. You could do a little meditation. You could do a longer meditation. You could journal. You could write a letter to a friend. I don't know. You could do anything, but just to start your day with some groundedness. When I started my morning practice, probably like 7 years ago, I just did a 10-minute meditation for quite a long time. Slowly over time, the meditation got a little bit longer, and now I usually meditate and then do a little journaling as well. And this practice has proved to be so beneficial and helpful that I've arranged my schedule so I actually have adequate time in the morning to spend doing a few things to make sure I start my day centered and grounded. I also plan out my day at this time so that I feel organized going into the day. I usually set an intention for the day as well to either take good care of myself or whatever it may be. I have ADD, so sometimes I never even go back and remember that thought, but I do feel it to be helpful to just kind of set that intention. And sometimes I put little reminders in my phone to ping me at certain times of the day with like a reminder with an intention to just take a second and ground myself, or my brain is kind of crazy otherwise. I'm going to talk about meditation in a later episode, but one thing I find really helpful currently is journaling. And I didn't used to be a journal person. I probably started about a year ago, thanks to Sean Miner, who really, really encourages journaling in order to kind of get out the stuff that's in your head and just kind of de-stress. And I found it super helpful. And one thing I find really helpful with journaling are some journaling prompts. I don't do super well with just free writing down my thoughts usually. I like direction. So typically I do a variation of these prompts that I'm going to go through below. I just kind of tell you what they are and how you could use them as a way to kind of center yourself for the day. So the first one I always do is today I am grateful for, and then I list 3 things I'm grateful for. Pretty basic. Next, I ask myself, how do I feel today? And I answer it. And then my next question is, how do I want to feel today? because sometimes I wake up feeling kind of crappy. And it's true that you can actually choose how you feel, but you first have to get a little introspective first and figure out how you do feel. Because if you don't know how you actually feel, you can't, and you don't take the time to sit down and actually ask yourself, you can't really do anything about it. But if you'll introspectively ask, how do I feel today? And then you can answer that. And if it doesn't match up with how you would like to feel, then you can think through the possible ways that you could get yourself to feel better. For example, if I wake up feeling a little anxious, sometimes I have a scary thought related to my kids, generally something that pops up with my anxiety and just kind of puts random scenarios in my head of ways my kids could die or, get in a car wreck or whatever. Happens all the time. I'm sure some of you can relate. I can write down that I'm actually pretty anxious right now. And what do I want to feel? I want to feel free. I don't want to feel crippled by fear. So I want to feel free and confident and excited about the day and excited to chat with my clients that day. And then I can choose to pivot my thoughts away from the anxious thoughts I'm having and turn them towards the thoughts I want to have, which are lighter and less scary and full of gratitude and can take down the intensity of those darker, scarier thoughts. This is a choice. But if you don't sit and just chill for a few minutes and figure out how you are actually currently feeling, you can't do anything to change it because you don't really know what's going on in your head. So I encourage you to ask that question. Okay, then I often ask myself, what are the things I could do that would make me feel successful today? These are generally things like work out, walk, my to-do list, things for work. Today on my list was write and record this podcast, among a bunch of other things. Sometimes I'm coaching most of the day, so I don't have a bunch of other tasks, so there's not a lot of things on there, but like something like walking always makes me feel successful. And just anything else that would make me feel kind of like the day was complete if I got that done. It really can be anything for you. It doesn't need to be a to-do list item. It could be something that makes you super happy, like talking to a friend on the phone or making that insurance phone call that you've been meaning to make for months now and just kind of getting that off of your chest and list and head and out of your head. But it's like putting a few things on there that would make you feel like if you got these things done today, you had a pretty good day. This could even include things like having a big salad or not skipping a meal because you forgot and choosing to nourish yourself with foods that you knew would make you feel good. Or it could look like watching your kid's soccer game or going for a walk or anything. It can be anything. There's no rules. It's just a few minutes to check in with yourself and just center yourself and just know that if we don't check in with ourselves, we are acting on autopilot all the time. Okay, one last little practice I want to highlight for something that you could do as a little morning practice. And this is the shortest possible way to do it. This is like a 4 to 5 minute time investment, but over time it would pay off by leaps and bounds, I promise. So this is a little mini mindfulness practice. It's called Mind Right Meditation. And I did not make this up. This is kind of invented by Todd at TMAC Fitness. And I just love the concept. And a lot of my clients like it too, because it feels more tangible than regular meditation. So it's just a simple 4 to 5 minute check-in with yourself that you can do at any time. But if you don't have very much time in the morning, this is perfect. It's a great way to kind of cover all the bases. I'm going to link my YouTube video explaining it in the show notes as well. But I will just give you a quick overview. For the first 30 seconds to 1 minute, you just want to, so there's 4 little sections, and you just want to kind of aim to spend 30 to 60 seconds on each section. You're going to close your eyes. And then for the first little section, you're going to feel gratitude for something in your life. You just spend a few moments here thinking of whatever it is that you're grateful for. Could be your spouse or your comfortable home or your grandchildren or your cat, which that's what I'm grateful for, or whatever it is in the moment, just feeling gratitude for that thing. And then you move on to the second thing. The second thing, you spend 30 to 60 seconds-ish. You don't need to measure this or anything. It's just a few breaths worth of just like mentally checking in on these few areas. The next section is to spend that few moments sending love or lifting someone up. This is where you think of someone you love or care about, or even just a random person that works at the store down the street. Send them good thoughts, good vibes, love to them, and just lift them up for a moment. The third part is you take a moment to solidify in your head what would make you feel successful that day. Could be anything. Going for a walk, having a salad, writing an email, making that phone call, literally anything. And you just kind of like solidify in your mind what you want to get done that day, kind of like that last little journaling prompt. And then the last thing is you just take a few moments to breathe, and maybe like 5 to 10 breaths cycles in and out worth, where you just kind of just listen to the sounds, just be present for just a couple moments. If you do this consistently, it would make a huge difference in your day, and honestly, it would make a huge difference in your life over time. And of course, as with everything else I talk about, holding yourself to a loose consistency with this and other health practices and habits ensure that you won't become overwhelmed with trying to achieve rigid perfection. If you miss a day, no big deal. Try not to miss 2 in a row. I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but this is one of my favorite principles is to allow yourself to miss a day if needed. Life happens, things come up, kids need stuff a lot. But try not to miss 2 days in a row, and avoid spiraling out of this fresh new habit altogether by kind of just holding a loose consistency to it. It's not an emergency. It's not urgent. It's just a practice. Okay, that's it for me today. I'm going to post a link for a free journal prompt PDF that you can download from my website. I just made it today and I uploaded it. And this is my first little thing I've made to go with my podcast, and I'm kind of excited with my design skills, and I'm just a dork, whatever. But yeah, the link will be in the show notes, and you can just click on the link and you can download a PDF on those journaling prompts that I went over on this cool little design. So yeah, thank you so much for listening today and for being with me. I super appreciate it. I honestly do. I appreciate every comment I get. I get comments once in a while, people that are like, I listen to your podcast. I just listen to all of them. I love them. I really appreciate it because I'm really just trying to push some positivity out there and just try to take away the complicatedness of setting up health and wellness habits and practices, because I think they can be overwhelming, because I think there's a lot of stigma around being perfect with them and not missing a day or not messing up. And it can't be that way. So I'm just here to encourage you to be imperfect and just keep going, one foot in front of the other, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Thank you again so much for listening and for being here with me today. I super, super appreciate it. If you haven't already left a rating and or review, if you would, I would so appreciate that. Also, if you would share it with a friend, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate that too. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you next week. Bye!